Previously, I've already held 3 other webinars. Today, the last one will be on the topic of professional host tools and branding on Airbnb. So, without further ado, just to introduce more about myself, my name is Janice. I'm managing the host management companies segment in Southeast Asia. And I'm very happy today to share a little bit of recommendations of what are some of the tools that you can use as a professional host on Airbnb. So first, we will start off with, I will just do an introduction of all the tools that are available for professional hosts on Airbnb. Next, I will touch on the tips for you to tap on to build a brand on Airbnb as a professional host. And then we will have a live Q&A session where you can ask any questions that you have for me. So if you have any questions during the webinar, I encourage you to keep it until the Q&A section where you can ask me. So you can either unmute yourself and you can speak through the microphone, or if you are feeling shy, please feel free to use the chat box where you can type your message to me and I'll answer it as well. And the very last part, I will touch on some of the frequently asked questions by hosts. So just to quickly go on to the very first part, where I will introduce to you what are the different types of professional tools that are available. The reason why we came up with professional tools is because Airbnb over the years, we have evolved to a broader platform beyond just homeowners. And right now, we are working very closely with professional hosts like yourself. So we have developed many tools that we feel that it's helpful for your hosting on Airbnb. So just to introduce you the very first one, you are able to edit multiple listings at one go. So as you can see from the example on the slides, this host has 53 listings, and you can see the red box over here. What you can do if you have multiple listings on Airbnb, if you are using manual listings, or if it's an API connected listings with limited sync, what you can do is to check multiple boxes. As you can see the green box, check the boxes that you want to edit for those listings that you want to change, and you are able to change different types of things, like for example property type, fees, amenities, location. I've included the full list over here. So you are able to change information for multiple listings at one go. And this is very helpful because it helps you to save time, especially if you have a lot of listings in the same property and it requires the same change. You can do it all at one time. So I've included some of the instructions below. It's simple. All you need to do is just go to listings dashboard and you can find the chat box on your left hand side. The second tool that's helpful is what we call Team Tool. So this allows you to give individualized access to different people in your hosting team. So as you can see from the example on the slide, Sari is the account owner over here. And what she's doing is that she's adding different people, for example, the head of marketing, or the guest communications manager, or the revenue manager onto her team feature. And she's granting them a different permission or different features. So for example, she may only want the finance or the revenue manager to only look at payouts. So she's only granting the finance part permission to the finance manager. So this is something that you can consider if you have a diverse team of people doing different things and you want to control and you want to have full control over who can have access to which features. Another different tool is the Cohost tool, which I think you are very, very familiar with. But just to share with you, an important thing for you to note is that the Team tool and the Cohost tool cannot be used together. So it's either one or the other. So it's something important for you to take note of. The difference between co-host and team is that the co-host is invited to help you with hosting, and the co-host pretty much can do almost everything that you as a primary host can do. The only exception is that the co-host cannot initiate a resolution payment, and your co-host cannot view your payout detail. So these are the only two main things that the co-host cannot do. But as you can see from the graph here, in terms of managing your listing, changing the content, or replying to your guests, the main bulk of hosting features a co-host is able to help you with. So I've included some of the information over here. If you are interested, I can share this with you at the end of the webinar via email. So please do let me know if you need more details on co-host. The third feature is, I think this needs no introduction. If you are a manual host who is listing manually on Airbnb, you will know that we have a multi-calendar feature that allows you to create rules that you can save and apply to almost all your listings at one go. And there are different features such as you can set early bird discount, you can set last minute discount, you can set what is the maximum or minimum number of days that you require, and more. So I really recommend you to check out this feature if you haven't. And another interesting thing is that Airbnb, we are investing a lot into helping hosts be more aware of your performance. And we want to be able to allow you to compare your performance with other hosts' performance, just so that you can make decisions or you can make certain strategies based on the information that you provide. This is the latest feature that will be coming soon, very soon. It's right now not completely 100% launched yet, but we are replacing the old reviews tab on your performance dashboard with a quality dashboard. So as you can see on the red box, what you can do is you can filter based on the time frame that you want to look at. For example, if you only want to look at how is your listing performing in the first half of this year. For example, you can filter it according to the time frame you want, or you can filter it according to the location that you want. And what this is good is that you are able to compare your listings quality compared with other listings in the same area as you. And what we do is that we compare listings of the same neighborhood, of the similar type or number of bedrooms, just to give you an apple and apple comparison. The second thing that you can see in terms of data is on pricing data. So like what I said, what you can do is to compare what is your average nightly rate. This is the rate that you set for your own listings versus the median of the market. And the reason why we compare with the median is because we are looking at the 50th percentile. So we are eliminating the cheapest room. There are hosts that are selling listings that are really at a very cheap price, as well as hosts that are pricing their listings extremely expensive. So it's not a fair comparison, and that's why we are not using market average. We are using market median, so that you are able to see the 50th percentile. And it may look very confusing, but it's actually very simple. What you need to do, I recommend that you just focus on the market median. And if the values, the percentage that you get is green, it means that you are pricing your listing higher than the market. If it's appear as red, it shows that you are pricing lower than your other competitors. So this gives you a good comparison of how your listing price compares with other people. And from my own personal experience, I noticed that hosts who generally perform better on Airbnb, most of their listings are showing green values. And that's because they are not going in a price war. They are not underpricing, but they are able to bring out the value in their pricing. They are able to justify why they are charging a higher price, and yet their rooms are still getting sold on Airbnb. So what is also interesting is that you are able to project 3 months in advance. So if you're interested to see how the market will price their listings maybe during the Chinese New Year period next year, you can project the values in advance, and you will be able to see results from that. The very last one that you can see is occupancy rate. Again, you can compare your own occupancy rate versus the market average. And what one personal tip that I have for you is that if you have a certain target, for example, if right now you found out that your occupancy rate is 67%, and maybe during Christmas you have a target that you want to increase your occupancy from 67 to 90, for example, you have a goal. What I recommend you to do is to find out what is your guest booking window. So if your guest average booking window is 2 weeks, so this suggests that you need to come up with promotions or any price discount 2 weeks before December in order to hit your occupancy rate target. So this is how you can play around and using insights to help you make decisions. Now, one of the things that we realize when working with professional hosts is that on top of the normal nightly rate, some of the professional hosts need to collect extra for certain fees, such as a management fee, if you have a management fee for your building, or if you need to charge for linens. We have come up with a feature for you to include these fees for your guests, just so that they are aware what are the extra fees that they need to pay for. Now we are going into more about how can you brand yourself as a professional host on Airbnb. So earlier on, I touched on the tools that you can use. But these are, moving forward, these are the tips that you can apply to, for example, your host profile and things like that. So the very first one that you should definitely consider, I would strongly recommend you to try out the Pro Marketing page. This is a branding page where it's a landing page where your guests can find all your listings and book directly with you on Airbnb. What is great about this is that you can personalize your own URL. So it can be airbnb.com/p/your company name or your property name. You are able to customize it. And this is a page where all your guest reviews will appear as well. So the best use for this page is especially if you need to tell your guests that last minute you have to change the listing because there is some issue with the listing that the guest booked and you want to offer another option. You can simply provide this URL for your guests, or if you have guests who you want to encourage them to stay with you a second time or third time when they visit, you can feel free to share this page with them. So this is the best way for you to showcase all your listings and review at once. And what is also something interesting is that this gets captured on Google. So it helps to boost search engine of so basically if a guest search for example in this example Little Albion, that is the property name. If they search Little Albion Airbnb on Google, they are able to locate this Pro Marketing page. Another thing that you can consider is, as a professional host, I really encourage you to set up a good host profile. And I have included 2 examples here. The first example is one individual. So this is a hotel manager that she really takes time to personalize her introduction. And she's working actually with a hotel in Bangkok. And she basically introduced herself, introduced why she is on Airbnb. She introduced her company, and she included a welcome message that she hopes that her guests will enjoy the stay with her. So this is a good way to make yourself stand out because Airbnb guests, they are more likely to book with hosts that display a personal touch. The second good example that I want to show you, earlier on I showed you one individual owner, manager. This one is an example of a hosting team. So they have 4 people in the team, and they actually introduce each member and their roles. So they even say that we are 4-member team, and each one of us is doing different roles. And what they did was actually group their listings into different categories. So one way is, for example, if you have listings in different part of a country, for example, in Malaysia, you have listings in KL, you have listings in Johor or Malacca, you can put it as one category. And other categories can be the number of bedrooms or the price. So this is another great way for you to stand out on Airbnb. Another tip for you, if you are a professional host, you would have access to listings that our business guest travelers would like to stay. So just to introduce to you, we have a work trip search filter on Airbnb. So when a guest is traveling for work or usually for long-term stay, for example, foreign expats, they are being posted to another Bangkok, for example, for work, a 1 month or 2 month work trip. They like to stay with a listing that has all the amenities that's suitable for work. And they would be very likely to check on the work trip, the box. So do make sure that if you have listings that are eligible for the work trip, please feel free to make sure that your listings are up. So there are some criteria that we look at. You must at least have 1 business guest review. It must be a high review of 4.8, only 1. And the overall review rating for the listing must be 4.7 and above. And do not worry about the carbon monoxide detector. If you don't have it, you can get a free one to register. So register via the URL at the bottom, and the team will be looking into your request. So these are other tips that you can consider. So as a professional host on Airbnb, I also recommend that you check out our Superhost requirement. This is because our Superhost is a very recognized status that we use to reward hosts that are showing a high quality of hosting standards on Airbnb. So for example, you can see from the example over here, they are actually a professional host. They are more of a traditional hospitality background, and they are a super host. And I also recommend you to tailor your listing content to reflect your brand or reflect your company. So in this example that I provided, this is their listing page, but they actually took time to explain who they are. So they mentioned that we are not just a bed and breakfast. We are food lovers, coffee enthusiasts, seekers, appreciators of good design and culture. I think there's a lot of effort that they put in to make sure that they really stand out, to show that they are really professionals in hosting, and they are not just a random homeowner. They have a brand. So I do encourage you to provide very professional and clear messages for your guests when you communicate with them, because this is all about branding, being a professional host on Airbnb. And I would also recommend you to give professional responses to guest reviews. So we have very good professional hosts on Airbnb who have a dedicated team to check on all the guest reviews and make sure that they give a response to both positive and negative guest reviews. And a good way for you to get repeated, to have a group of loyal guests, is that always direct the guests to your pro marketing page for repeated stays. You can also share your pro marketing page, the URL, on your social media. If you have a Facebook page or Instagram page, please also feel free to do that. So at this point, I just want to give you some time to if you have any questions on what I just mentioned, or you have some questions as a professional host on Airbnb, please feel free to leave a message on the chat box. type your question there, or please feel free to unmute yourself and share the question. I think maybe some people might need some time to think about questions or type the questions down. While we are waiting for you to think about it, I have prepared some frequently asked questions. So let's just go through the frequently asked questions. Time, if you have any questions, just type it down or just feel free to unmute yourself. But let's just go through what are some of the frequently asked questions. So, sorry, is that a question from? Okay, so I will just carry on. So one of the questions that we frequently ask is, can Airbnb recommend us a channel manager? The answer to this is that there are many channel manager partners that we work with on Airbnb. If you are a host who is interested into connecting your account with a channel manager, I'll be happy to share with you the full list of partners that Airbnb is currently working with. For us, we do not recommend a specific channel manager for you to use, but the list will be good enough to inform you which are the official partners that we have a partnership with. And there are also on the page, you are able to see who are some of our preferred partners. So this will give you a good idea of the options that you have when it comes to channel manager. So that is one. It's on a landing page, and if you have questions on which channel manager to connect to, please let me know. I'll be able to share that link with you. The second question is, we have been facing syncing issues with our channel manager when it comes to pricing and calendar. So for this host, he is facing issues with calendar and pricing. So when he sets a certain discount, it's not reflecting on Airbnb accurately. So for this question, if you suspect that you are facing a technical issue with your channel manager, we do have a dedicated channel where it's in the form of it's a technical form that we require your channel manager support team to fill up the online form, and it gets sent directly to the Airbnb API team. So the reason why we want to use this form is because we want to reduce the number of third-party people. We want the two support teams to communicate directly to each other so that the problem can be resolved faster. So if you think that you are facing some technical issues, something went wrong with your channel manager when it comes to syncing, please let me know. I encourage you to email me. I will share with you the link to the online form that your channel manager support team can use. I will also share a follow-up email after this webinar call, and I will include the link on the email as well. So don't worry about that. Very quickly, going to the next question. My co-host is a superhost. Is this superhost status transferable to the other listings and accounts that he is helping to co-host? So over here, I think the co-host account is a superhost account, but the primary host account is currently not a superhost account. So the question here is, can the listings or the account that the co-host is helping be a superhost account as well? The answer to this is that the superhost status is not transferable across accounts. So even if the co-host is a superhost, the listings that he or she is helping will not automatically become a superhost listing or a superhost account. This is because it's non-transferable across accounts. So for example, in another scenario, if the primary host account is a superhost account, all the listings under the primary host accounts will be superhost listings. whether or not it's being co-hosted. So in summary, what is easy for us to understand is that the superhost status is only kept within the same account, just for you to understand it in a simple way. So it's not transferable. If I have multiple listings, should I be listing all under the same account, or should I split my listings across different accounts? This host over here has many listings, and the question is asking whether should he be listing all in one Airbnb account or split across accounts. There is no clear-cut answer yes or no to this. I recommend you to consider according to the location. The reason why is because, for example, you may be an Indonesian host, but you have listings in different locations across Indonesia or across Bali, for example. And you have different ground team or guest communication team seated in different locations. So in this case, I recommend that first you consider the location of the listings. It's wise and it makes sense to group your listings according to location. That's one thing. And the second thing to consider is that if you are using a channel manager, sometimes the channel manager functionality does not allow you to list all under the same account. I'm aware that there are some channel manager that requires you to split across different accounts. So you should also check with your channel manager whether this is allowed. Again, there is no clear-cut answer whether you should put all under the same account or should you split across account. I think there are certain things that you can consider like location, channel manager, support, whether you can have the local support team able to answer all the guest communications. Or another thing to consider is if you have multiple units in the same property. For example, if you have 10 units in property A and another 10 in property B, you might want to consider splitting into two accounts according to the property. Yeah, that's another way you can do it. Yeah, and we are down to the very last question. This host is facing a lot of pending payout issues. So what should he do? My recommendation is for you to reach out to our customer support team. The reason why is because my team, we are the account management team at Airbnb. Our role is primarily to support the business performance of hosts when it comes to revenue, when it comes to nights booked, when it comes to listing performance. So if you are facing issues with not getting your money, not getting your payout, or resolution center claims you are not getting it, the best team to look for is our customer support team because they are trained to be able to respond to your issues. And another thing is that they operate 24 hours a day around the clock. So they are able to help you with your issues most efficiently. And they also have the right tools to be able to help you do a background check. So I really recommend that you reach out to our customer support team via contact us on Airbnb, www.airbnb.com/contact, and you'll be able to reach out to them. So I received some questions through the chat box, and I just want to read out these questions. How do you include all Airbnb link together in the link? So I think this question is with regards to the pro marketing page, if I'm not wrong. So right now the limitation is that if you happen to have 10 different accounts, you are unable to have one single pro marketing page. You have to create separate ones for different accounts. Currently, this is a limitation that we have, but at least per account you can have one main page. Yeah. So in the meantime, we cannot have a function for you to combine all 10 accounts in one page for now. Yeah. So another question is for the team feature. How does it work if we have several accounts, one for each owner, and we want to manage them all from one account. I tried inviting the single listings to one common Airbnb account, but I was not able to do it if the invited account had live listing on it. So basically, I think the question over here is that they have several accounts, each being taken charge of by one person, and they want to manage all of these accounts from one single dashboard or from one single account. We are actually, I think I have shared this with some of you. I will share it again. We are going to have an upgraded version of Teams. So right now, the team feature that we have is you are only able to add different staff member into one single account. And if a staff member is added into your account as a teammate, he or she cannot be added into another team. That's the limitation. But we will have a version 2 of Team. It's called Team version 2, where if you have 10 different accounts and you have listing across 10 different accounts, you are able to give one single person the permission to manage listing across that accounts. So this is coming up very soon. I think right now we are still in a beta stage, but there has been communication that this will be out by end of this year or early next year. So for now, it is a limitation, but we have a new feature for Teams that will allow you to do that, and I will share with you very, very soon. Another question is on pro marketing page. So can the guests see all our listing there if they want another house that we manage? Okay, so just to explain, the pro marketing page is that you can have a pro marketing page for every Airbnb account. So one Airbnb account equals to one pro marketing page. This is currently the logic that we have. So if you have guests if you want to direct your guests to any listings that belong in the same account, you can share it via the pro marketing page. But if you want to share a listing from a different account, the pro marketing page is not able to help you with that at the moment. And another question is on the Airbnb support for inventory for multiple rooms in a property. So I think this question is asking which channel manager are able to support having multiple room. Basically, what we consider as a room type inventory here at Airbnb. The term is called room type inventory. So meaning in every one listing that you push onto Airbnb from your channel manager, you can set a number of rooms behind it. So it can be booked multiple times. Yes, there are some channel managers that are able to help you to do that. So meaning, if you have 10 standard rooms, for example, and 10 deluxe rooms, you can just push one standard room listing over, but it can be booked 10 times. So that is what we call room type inventory. For this question, please do email me privately. I will share with you some examples of channel managers that I've worked with who have this feature. So I will share with you that via email, if that's okay. Another question is on Airbnb Lux and Airbnb Plus. So Airbnb Lux is actually a new category that came out this year, and it's one of the newest categories. So the onboarding for Airbnb Lux is that what you need to do if you feel that your listing is eligible to be considered as a Lux listing, there is a landing page for you to go to sign up, to fill up an application for our Lux team to look into. The good news is that there is a dedicated Southeast Asia Lux team seated in Singapore office. So when you submit your application through the link, our team will look at your application and will reach out to you for more discussion. So that is for Airbnb Lux. For Airbnb Plus, the Airbnb Plus program has sort of we have we are now relooking into how we can better improve the experience for Airbnb Plus. I think the Airbnb Plus was facing an overwhelming demand when it was launched, where just too many hosts are interested in it. Actually, in September this year, we have decided to stop all the onboarding of new Airbnb Plus listings. So we are no longer accepting new Airbnb Plus listings at the moment. But if you have previously already gotten an Airbnb Plus listing approved, it will continue to stay as an Airbnb Plus. We will not remove it. Just that you are not able to apply. If you are thinking of applying, you are not able to do so. Next year, we will have more news of a new upgraded version of Plus. But so far, I have not heard much about it yet. It's currently being tested. It's currently still something that is work in progress. So for Airbnb Plus, it's pretty much we have sunset the onboarding of new listings. So looks like there are no further questions for me. Just give a last 1 minute. If you have any questions, please let me know. If not, I think we can just end the webinar early and give the time back to you. But don't worry, if you have any follow-up questions for me that I have not managed to address for you, I'm sorry, but please let me know that, please let me know whatever your questions are via email. So I'll be happy to share with you the answers privately via email. All right, so we have come to the end of the webinar series in November. Thank you very much for your participation, especially for those who have joined me for all week. So I look forward to having more webinars next year. This is the very last one for this year. So I will share a feedback form that will require just 1 minute for you to fill up. I will share it via email with you guys. Thank you so much for your participation and have a good weekend and have a good holidays. Thank you.